With Raiders QB Derek Carr facing an uncertain future in Las Vegas, the question arises, where could he land for the 2023 season? After being benched for backup Marcus Mariota in the final weeks of the 2021-2022 season, speculation is swirling about a potential move for the 7-year veteran. Will he find a team that needs a reliable starter to lead their offense? First up, the Raiders have a big decision to make at the quarterback position if Derek Carr is traded or released. If they go in a different direction, their two options are Jimmy Garoppolo and Tom Brady. Garoppolo could serve as a long-term bridge quarterback for the franchise, while Brady would represent a leap of faith in his twilight years. The idea of either Garoppolo or Brady playing in Las Vegas has been on the radar of many football analysts. Donald Rickert asked if all the criticism of Joe Lombardi was warranted, especially considering the extenuating circumstances such as injuries and poor O-line play. This sentiment has been echoed throughout the league as the Raiders need to decide what's best for the team going forward. Tom Brady could seem distant and unapproachable. Still, Aaron Rodgers stated that when talking to any Buccaneers player, they would say that he is as normal as anyone else in the building. With all the returning players this season, the Raiders can't sink another year into Wilson's development. He needs to prove himself worthy of being the team's starting quarterback. Garoppolo is set to hit the market in March, providing the Raiders with an option with which they have experience in San Francisco. David Bakhtiari, Devontae Adams, and Randall Cobb all said they loved Aaron Rodgers, even though he may be slightly different. It remains to be seen who will be under center for the Raiders next season. It is not out of the realm of possibility for Tom Brady or Jimmy Garoppolo to play in Vegas next season. The Raiders have some difficult decisions to make, and it will be interesting to see how they handle them. Regardless of who takes snaps under center, it should be a fun ride for Raider Nation. Also, it has been quite the roller coaster for Derek Carr over the last 14 months. There was the John Gruden drama, the Raiders' 4-game victory run to capture an AFC wildcard berth, and the last-minute playoff defeat to the Bengals. That was followed by Las Vegas signing Josh McDaniels, the Raiders trading for Carr's college sidekick Devontae Adams, and Carr receiving a 3-year contract deal for $121.5 million. But it seems like ages ago now, with the Raiders dropping to 6-9 this season, Carr struggling, with his emotions spilling during a defeat to the Colts, and now being benched with 2 games left. That's a career's worth of tension for some guys. Next up, what's next for Carr? Indeed, this seems like a forerunner to Carr moving in the offseason. McDaniels said there's a lot to be worked through after the season is finished. This he said after announcing Jarrett Stidham will replace Carr for the rest of the regular season. Even with Carr signing the agreement, moving on from him, either by selling him or straight out cutting him immediately after the Super Bowl, wouldn't harm the Raiders economically. Perhaps benching Carr right now enables Vegas to showcase his availability a little early, giving clubs a chance to consider the 3-time Pro Bowler as a trade possibility before the tsunami of offseason shifting and shaking. If no strong bids come, the Raiders can easily cut bait with a reasonable dead money hit. Let's try to project Carr's next landing spot into the offseason, which will almost certainly include another round of QB musical chairs, assuming of course he doesn't end up staying in Las Vegas. You know that Zach Wilson has been benched, and Mike White is again at the rescue starting at QB, but White is also a free agent to be, so there's no guarantee he'll be returning. The Jets have been tied to other experienced QBs, including Jimmy Garoppolo, which would make sense. But if Carr is available, and mainly if the Raiders are interested in Wilson, it's a matchup you can't overlook. The Jets have some promising weapons. They need to find a long-term quarterback. Andy Dalton has performed well since Jameis Winston's back injury, but the QB prediction in New Orleans is a little murky right now. However, Dalton is a prospective free agent while Winston is a possible cut. Assuming Taysom Hill isn't suddenly a starting candidate again, the Saints will need to go out and find someone, and they'll have to do it with salary cap constraints and no first-round selection. Their financial predicament makes projecting a QB of Carr's caliber as a significant possibility more difficult. However, if the Raiders decide to release Carr, New Orleans may be able to find a way to make it work. On the one hand, going with a seasoned quarterback to the Colts would be expected, given that they haven't used a day 1 or 2 pick on a quarterback since Andrew Luck and have since filled a Luck-sized void with veteran signings or trades. But look at how well it has worked out for them. The Colts will start their 7th different quarterback since Luck retired in 2023, assuming they add in some fresh blood. Carr would be in between Carson Wentz and Phillip Rivers in terms of risk, but they'd have to make a deal to get him. From the outside, depending on who the head coach is next season, Indianapolis may not be the most appealing destination for a seasoned quarterback. It's looking more and more likely that Tom Brady will not be back in Tampa next season, either retiring or leaving for another year, perhaps even to Las Vegas to see McDaniels. Unless the Bucs believe Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask deserve to be Brady's successor, successor, which seems unlikely, Tampa Bay should be looking for a quarterback. This club was constructed to win now, with Brady at the helm, but the Bucs' exceedingly tight financial position makes this a difficult match, even if Brady's monstrous contract was to go. The Giants have not said anything about Daniel Jones, whose fifth-year option was not picked up before this season. Jones performed well in 2022, particularly in terms of ball security. He's also improved his completion rate and has weaponized his running skills like never before. The Giants may not be willing to give up on a 25-year-old quarterback and may franchise tag Jones this summer. If not, the Giants' solid record this season may prevent them from drafting his replacement immediately. There are also family ties. Derek's elder brother David played for the Giants and has spoken highly of the team and its ownership. Furthermore, Giants head coach Brian Daboll has ties to McDaniels and general manager Dave Ziegler from their time on New England staff. After dismissing Matt Rule and trading Christian McCaffrey, the Panthers have been a pleasant and surprising surprise down the stretch, putting them in contention in the dormant NFC South under Steve Wilks. It's been a great tale, but owner David Tepper and general manager Scott Fitterer can only ride it for so long, knowing that the team's future starting quarterback is unlikely to be on the roster unless Sam Darnold is retained to play against a rookie next season. Tepper definitely wants to make a statement at the position, so a player of Carr's caliber must be considered. Even though the Panthers are still in the hunt, they are expected to have a top 10 choice. Will Carolina look for its next quarterback via the draft or through trades free agency? That is still unclear. Ryan Tannehill will be 35 next summer and may not play for the Titans again this season or ever. Following Tannehill's playoff collapse last season and his miserable injury-plagued 2022 season, Titans head coach Mike Vrabel may want to try something different. Malik Willis has yet to show that he is ready to start in 2023. We don't know whether Vrabel will retain offensive coordinator Todd Downing, but if he does, Downing and Carr will remain close after previously working together with the Raiders. Carr had 3 of his greatest seasons under Downing, although with him as his QB coach in 2015 and 2016, rather than as his offensive coordinator in 2017. Downing was not a famous play caller in Oakland, but he and Carr have freely expressed their admiration for one another. The future of New England's offense is far from certain. In other words, we have no idea who will be calling plays or throwing passes next season. This complicates the potential match, and if Carr can't pass muster for McDaniels, would Bill Belichick be hesitant to pursue him? We have no idea. Belichick has previously lauded Carr, albeit the Patriots' defense pressed in on him in the second half of their wild encounter a few weeks ago. Mac Jones is definitely the shining object in this trading situation. If the Patriots decide that they've had enough of Jones by the end of the season, there's likely no better coach to resurrect his career than McDaniels, who coached him to a Pro Bowl season as a rookie in New England last year. The Commanders have re-signed Carson Wentz as a starter for the stretch run, with a lot riding on his performance. If he performs well, Wentz may ensure he'll be on the same team for consecutive seasons for the first time in 3 years. But if he fails miserably, may Washington reshuffle the quarterback position? Nothing is off the table for that franchise, which seems to be in constant turmoil, particularly with Wentz's contract, with no guaranteed money left, making him an excellent candidate to be released if he doesn't earn it. Carr would potentially be better, and he'd have some good young receivers to pass to. With Marcus Mariota likely done in Atlanta, and Desmond Ridder still attempting to earn a spot as the starter in 2023, the Falcons can still bring in unexperienced help unless proved differently. We believe they'd go with a cheaper, more experienced alternative than Carr, maybe Tannehill, who has a history with Arthur Smith, but with all 4 NFC South teams potentially changing quarterbacks this summer, we can't rule out an arms race. Could Carr return? Yes, it is feasible. It's debatable if Las Vegas is resting Carr to keep his $33 million contract in 2023 from being guaranteed by an injury down the stretch. However, this benching might be a temporary issue, and if the Raiders assess the 2023 QB picture, they may find Carr more appealing than other prospective selections. Las Vegas is expected to get a high draft selection, but will a McDaniels and Ziegler-approved quarterback be available at that position? McDaniels waited until year 2 of his Broncos career to choose his chosen future quarterback, Tim Tebow, and he might do the same in Vegas this summer. Even if that occurs, the Raiders brass may feel that having Carr around as a bridge to the future is the best option for next season. It's an apples to oranges comparison, but consider how the 49ers handled Trey Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo. They may not be Super Bowl contenders today if Garoppolo had not been retained. If nothing else, the 49ers' approach to the quarterback position is instructive. It's clear that Derek Carr's days as the Raiders' quarterback are coming to an end. Where will he end up in 2023 is anyone's guess at this point. So what do you think? Where do you think Derek Carr will end up in 2023? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more updates and insights into the NFL.